Hey, what's up, everybody? Noor Kidwai here, letting go with Noor. Thanks for tuning in. I want to talk about politics because for years I've been a political junkie. I really think it's like important to be informed and stuff, which I still do to an extent. But in the last 6 months, I've really taken a step back from politics, and it's really helped me deepen my spirituality and calm my mind. And one thing I realized yesterday is I haven't really dealt with those emotions inside of me that kept bringing me back to politics. I just kind of removed that trigger of politics, and it's really helped my spirituality take off, but those emotions are still stuck in me. So I want to give you guys just a little advice on what kind of emotions are set off by politics and how not to get unconsciously wrapped up in those, and how to recognize that, and also like stay informed, because it is important to stay informed to a certain extent. But I'll tell you, because yesterday, I don't know if you guys saw the Charlie Kirk guy, he got assassinated. He's a political commentator in the States. And yeah, condolences to his family. That sucks. I never really watched the dude, so I don't know much about him, but I did know he was like a really big name in the States. So I went on X, which was my first mistake, but I went on X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it, and it was just a cesspool. People were talking about like political violence. People were talking, like making jokes about the death. People were just like showing stuff this guy has said in the past to justify the killing, and just bad stuff all around. And there's people giving condolences too, but you know, that stuff the algorithm doesn't really boost as much as the divisiveness. So after that, I went on, and like all these emotions, like these familiar emotions I got from watching these, or just from being on these apps and like really getting engaged in this divisive political stuff, they started arising. And it was interesting how strong that energy was, because it was been dormant for a long time. And when it came out of me, I really like, now that I know this letting go technique of when these emotions arise and becoming aware of them rather than getting lost in them, I was really able to kind of observe the emotions and separate myself from them, and really kind of see what these emotions are. And the main emotion, it's this righteousness that like we all have it in us, especially if you like political content. And this righteousness is a mix of like fear, anger, and pride. But the righteousness is basically like, I'm right, you're wrong. It basically has that kind of thing. And it's very tribal, it's very egoic. So the reason we have that is our ego thrives on being right. When your ego says like, I'm right and you're wrong, like it makes your ego feel like superior. But it's also like this tribal thing from our evolutionary background, where if you're in a tribe, I'm right, and then the rest of like our tribe's right, and the rest of the tribes, the rest of the people out of the tribe are wrong. This is how we kind of came together. And so like there's this evolutionary pull with it. So then when your ego feels wrong, all of a sudden it starts feeling like it's out of control. It doesn't have control, it's losing control. It also feels like unsafe. So that's why these emotions become stronger and stronger. So you have to, like, when that emotion comes up in you, this righteousness, and it can be, maybe it's more pride, like, oh, I'm better, my opinion's so much better than this person. Or maybe it's more anger, like, you people are the worst, you're gonna destroy everything. Or maybe it's more fear, like, oh, if this idea gets spread, it's gonna really cause some damage. Like, all of those are just like this emotional energy. And you can separate yourself from it and kind of understand what it is. Because at the end of the day, like, I did this yesterday because I went on to X, I was looking at all these posts, and I stayed on there for too long, and then this energy was just rolling through me, and I had a show, so I was walking to a comedy show I was gonna do, and I'm trying to think of my jokes, but this energy is rolling through me, and then the energy goes into your head and starts creating all these thoughts, and in my head I'm having all these like fake debates with random people with like that don't exist. And I'm having these arguments in my head because it's just like that's how that energy wants to play out. It wants to be like, you're right and they're wrong. And when your ego feels like you're right, that's why you consume content that is in your tribe or your political leaning. And when you consume that content and that content mirrors to you that you're right, you all of a sudden you're like, yeah, your ego's like, all right, baby, you're right. Like it's like a victory. But when your ideas start getting challenged, all of a sudden you tense up, anger starts arising, this defense starts arising, and when you're acting through these emotions, there's no reason at all. So how are you supposed? There's no conversation can happen when these emotions are present. So that's why it's good to recognize these emotions, take a step back, separate yourself from them, take a breath, let the emotional energy kind of pass through you, and when you do that, this emotional response gets weaker and weaker every time it comes up, because you're going to slowly dissociate from it or detach from it. And that's what you want, because you don't want these emotions, because when you do that and you get lost in these emotions, that's when you start unconsciously watching video after video or post after post, and it's all stuff that you believe in, so it's just making your ego stronger and stronger on these like certain issues. And that doesn't mean that you can't have opinions on this. You should, but you should be able to not have these emotions drive those opinions, and have those opinions come from a higher place, like reason, where you can calmly be like, no, I think this is the reason, like I think this is the proper opinion on this matter for this reason. And if we could start having conversations like that, that would be amazing. And I'm not gonna lie, like I still, from yesterday, that made it clear to me I still have this energy in me. And I let that energy, like I saw it yesterday and I laughed at it, which is awesome. If you can laugh at lower energies when they're coming out of you, or lower emotions, that's amazing, because it makes you detach even more. Laughter, humor, it comes from a higher energy state. And so your mind, like you laugh, you gain a little bit of awareness, and then you can look at lower energies and be like, oh, look how silly that is. Like, it's my ego fighting that it needs to be right, and I'm trying to like, I'm probably like arguing with like bots online. They're not even real people, maybe, you never know, but like that's like your ego fighting to be right, that it needs to like go and like message somebody online who you don't even know. It's like, it's funny, and it's like laughing at it's a great way to disassociate from it and not attach to it. And then let that energy go. And that energy, it was in me all day, like yesterday. My mind was racing, because that energy, a lot of times it turns into thoughts, and that's how it expresses itself. And a lot of times I used to get lost in that thought, in those thoughts, where I'm like kind of arguing with people in my head, like having political arguments in my head when I'm just doing my business. So that's like unhealthy and unconscious. That's the reason it's not good for you. It's unconscious. Be conscious, and if that energy's swirling and those thoughts are going through your head, completely fine. Let it ride out. I even had a dream where I was arguing with somebody in the dream last night. So that's the energy riding out of your system, and that's good. And then you can stay informed, and next time you watch a political video, stay informed. It's good for you, but you can, like, if that energy comes out, laugh at it, let it go away, and then you don't need to watch 100 videos on the same topic. You know, one video is enough, or one article is enough, and then move on with your day. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Like and subscribe. Peace out, y'all.